The New York Knicks are going to make a splash during this year's NBA trade deadline, and I want the Lakers to get involved immediately. When talking about both respective teams, both teams are very popular in the NBA, and when talking about the fans alone, Lakers fans and Knicks fans both have high expectations for their teams, but this season, both teams have not lived up to expectation. When talking about the Knicks, last year they were a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference going to the playoffs. But when talking about this year, they're currently ranked as the 12th seed in the East, struggling to make a playoff spot. And when talking about this offseason, it looked like the Knicks made upgrades to get better, but so far in the standings, they're not looking like they did. And with the NBA trade deadline coming up, the Knicks are going to make a move, and this is the biggest rumor right now, that the Knicks are reportedly open to trading these players. And oh boy, the list goes on for the players that are right now being available for the Knicks. According to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, he says this specifically: in conversations this week with teams, the Knicks have expressed a willingness to trade some of their veteran players. That includes Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, Alec Burks, and guys like this. In the past summer, they brought in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, but simply the fit does not make sense, and you can clearly see it in the standings, which is why right now these veterans are becoming available. The Knicks were one of the busier teams during this year's NBA trade deadline already, as they made a trade for Cam Reddish a few weeks ago, but from what it sounds like, the Knicks are not done. And when talking about the hottest Knick rumor right now, it's revolving around Julius Randle. This is a trade rumor. Impression is that Julius Randle could be available for the right deal. Who would have thought that the Knicks star player would become available for a trade? It looks like they gotta change it up and shake it up, as they simply want to build around RJ Barrett. And this is where the Lakers come in. I want to talk about a scenario where the Lakers and Knicks have a conversation that brings Julius Randle back to LA and of course sends Russell Westbrook to New York. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very special episode of Easy Buckets. My name is Soom and I make basketball videos every single day. So if you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications to not miss any of my upcoming videos. If you watched this video and you loved it, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. It would help out the channel a lot. But without wasting any more time, let's talk about the Lakers and the Knicks making a blockbuster deal. We know that Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier are on the trade market, but now that Julius Randle has entered the picture, I want to briefly talk about him. After becoming a first-time All-Star last season, leading the Knicks to the top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, Julius Randle is having a letdown year. He's only averaging about 18 points per game, 10 rebounds though, 5 assists, 0.8 steals, and 0.6 blocks, but he's shooting horribly and inefficiently of 41% from the field goal compared to his 45% last year. If you watch Knicks games, you can simply tell Julius Randle is not locked in like he was last year. It doesn't seem like he's playing for anything. And that's why all of a sudden these trade rumors popped up about Julius Randle ultimately being moved. After signing in a $100 million extension, Julius Randle kinda looks too comfortable right now, and I simply do believe he needs a new situation. And with Julius Randle being the 7th overall pick in the 2014 draft by the Lakers, who wouldn't love to see a reunion where Julius Randle goes back to LA? And I do believe this season it's possible. And this is where Russell Westbrook comes in. When talking about the Knicks, this is one of the biggest questions, is should the Knicks consider a Russell Westbrook deal? Whatever anybody says about Russell Westbrook, especially the negativity, I do believe Russell Westbrook 100% is better than Julius Randle. And if the Knicks go for him, I do believe his personality, playing style, and passion would simply fit Madison Square Garden and the fans. Russell Westbrook has been linked to the Knicks multiple times, and honestly this season I do believe it's becoming more possible because after being traded to the Lakers, you can simply tell that Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, the fit just doesn't work, and that's why right now he's one of the hottest players in the trade market that could be on the move. The NBA trade deadline is less than 5 days away, and I do believe during these upcoming 5 days, Russell Westbrook is going to be in multiple conversations, and the Knicks are also going to be in those talks. And that's why right now a blockbuster deal could be happening where the Lakers and Knicks pull something where Russell Westbrook is ultimately involved. So for this video, I have 2 trades where the Lakers and the Knicks talk about Russell Westbrook. The first trade is more of a realistic point of view where I believe the Knicks would almost accept, but then the second is a blockbuster deal where ultimately it would shake the NBA and I do believe would elevate the Lakers to a whole nother level. So the first trade on this list is the most popular trade rumor, and that's the Lakers offering up Russell Westbrook, DeAndre Jordan, Kent Bazemore in exchange for Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and Nerlens Noel. This right now is one of the biggest rumors when talking about a potential trade between the Lakers and the Knicks. On the Knicks' perspective, this trade makes sense because they bring in Russell Westbrook and create a new big three with Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and of course Russ. And with Russell Westbrook being a former MVP, a first ballot Hall of Famer, he brings in that veteran leadership, that energy, that passion that could ignite Julius Randle again, and of course help with RJ Barrett's development, as RJ Barrett is the future of this Knicks team. When talking about the Knicks point guards right now of Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, and even Emmanuel Quickly, these guys are nowhere near the level of Russell Westbrook. And even though Russell Westbrook has kind of downgraded over the past couple of seasons, he's still an all-star caliber player to me and a superstar candidate. And of course, I do believe on the Knicks, where he'll thrive as the #1 option and of course the playmaker, he could simply bring them to the playoffs simply as he did for the Washington Wizards last year. On the Lakers' perspective, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and Nerlens Noel brings in that all-around aspect. Kemba Walker replaces Russell Westbrook as a starting point guard to something more of a scoring and floor spacer, and I do believe even though Kemba Walker is not the best defender, he's 100% a better shooter than Russell Westbrook. So of course, the Lakers get a pretty good, decent replacement, as Kemba Walker used to be an all-star starter, and then of course getting Evan Fournier to being a role player off the bench, or even start at the shooting guard position, to being a floor spacer, a scorer. But in my opinion, I would love to see him as the sixth man coming off the bench, dropping 15 to 20 points per game. But of course, one of my favorite pieces in this deal is the Lakers getting Nerlens Noel. One of the biggest Lakers questions this year is who's going to be their front court nightmare defender, their interior defender. And even though Nerlens Noel is not the best offensive player in the league, he's pretty good on those alley-oop pick-roll situations they could easily have with LeBron James. And then of course, on the other hand, be a great interior defender to create a monster front court with Anthony Davis. This blockbuster trade in front of us is simply more realistic, and right now is the hottest rumor between a Lakers and a Knicks deal. But I do want to talk about the second trade scenario that's revolving Julius Randle, and I believe this deal would shake the NBA, and honestly right now with Julius Randle being potentially available, this deal could get something done that of course could elevate and help the Lakers and the Knicks. With the Lakers offering up Russell Westbrook, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kent Bazemore, and their 2027 first round pick in exchange for Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, and Alec Burks. I believe this deal is a crazy blockbuster deal that ships Julius Randle back to LA and Russ to New York. On the Lakers' perspective, this deal, it's obvious when it comes to Julius Randle being the starting power forward. Of course, Anthony Davis in the past has been very vocal saying he loves to play the power forward. But of course, this season, the coaching staff and Frank Vogel are trying to make Anthony Davis play center. And that's why right now I do believe they need an upgrade at that power forward position. Because Stanley Johnson is pretty good. He's, showed up this year. But of course, I do believe Randle will be an immediate upgrade, a crazy upgrade over Stanley Johnson, Trevor Ariza, and even Carmelo Anthony. On the Knicks' perspective, of course, getting Russell Westbrook is a big-time bonus, but of course, they get future assets of THT and the future first-round pick. As of right now, the Lakers don't have that many first-round picks, but of course, who knows how bad the Lakers could be in 2027 if LeBron ultimately retires. So that first-round pick might be a pretty good one. So of course, on the Knicks' perspective, if they want to invest but also get good return, this would be the ultimate deal. I do believe this blockbuster deal between Russell Westbrook and Julius Randle is not impossible, and honestly, it would be a crazy thing to happen. But I do want to show you guys this video of Julius Randle interviewing somebody after a Knicks game after hearing all these trade rumors. Hear this out about Julius Randle.
Amazing that your name has come up as a possibility. I mean, do you think that's just rubbish? I mean, who
reported it?
I mean, it's been out there that the Knicks are open.
Who reported it?
A couple of reported.
That's not know. You don't know. You just
no, I know it's been out there.
Who reported it?
Do we know?
Good job, Mark.
Okay,
next question.
There you have it, folks. Randle has been very obvious. He's kind of surprised he's being in trade talks right now, but honestly, in the NBA, you just gotta expect the unexpected. But what's most important to me is I want to know your thoughts. Do you believe the Lakers and the Knicks should make a blockbuster deal, or do you believe there are better trades for each team elsewhere? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets. Woo!